So today's the day I should have had my new car. So what's going on? So what's going on then? Well, I haven't got my car. Yesterday was supposed to be the day that I got my Leaf on the Octopus Power Loop trial, and it hasn't turned up. So it's been a while since I signed up for this trial. It's been nearly 2 months actually, since I actually signed the paperwork, and it's been a little bit longer actually talking about the trial, since actually back in the summer. But in anticipation to go on the trial, we sold the Volvo just after Christmas. So it's a little bit frustrating that the car hasn't turned up. Now, I wasn't expecting this trial to be all plain sailing by any means, because that's the whole point of a trial, right? So I was kind of expecting the car to be the least of the problems, though. I thought that we might have issues with the vehicle-to-grid technology and all of that kind of thing, but I didn't think that it would be as difficult as it has been to actually take delivery of a Nissan Leaf. And to be fair, there's probably some things about these particular Leafs that, you know, might be different. I don't know whether there's a different software version on the cars, whether the Leaf can do vehicle to grid out of the box, or whether there needs to be some additional software that's activated or tinkered with in some particular way. So I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't, because I know that one of the things they're looking at is exactly how much power they can put back onto the grid with these vehicles. But I was expecting that would be managed by the charger actually. So we haven't got the car. The Octopus Power Loop folks have been a little bit, I think, over optimistic is the word, when making the commitments to me about when I was going to get the car. And of course, ultimately that's been quite disappointing. If I was in need of a car, I'd be I would be quite annoyed. But and there is a little bit of frustration. But at the end of the day, we very rarely use both cars at once. But of course, the longer you're without one, the more those occurrences arise, and we have been left kind of high and dry a little bit, but it's just been a real frustration that they haven't been able to give us a date and stick to that date. And so now I am considering my options, because as far as I'm concerned, I signed a contract to lease a car for 2 years, and I have insured that car, and I have been insuring that car for the last 2 months, and I would like them to live up to their end of the bargain. So if they don't and can't live up to their end of the bargain, then that contract really, in my mind, isn't really working for me. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me now. They've not been the most proactive of communications. I've had to chase them a lot to understand what's going on. But since I voiced my disappointment, they have come back and said that they are trying everything they can to get the car for me, and they've offered me a gesture of goodwill and some credit on my energy account, which is fine to offer some compensation, and I appreciate that, but obviously it's very hard to judge whether that compensation is of any value when you still don't know when you're getting the car. So if I get my car, in 2 days' time, then the compensation's fine because they're only a couple of days late. But if they compensate me and then it's another 2 months, then it's a different level of compensation. It'd be nice as well to maybe if they do have some issues, maybe they've got some other cars, but it's a bit of a shame. It's a real disappointment actually, because I was looking forward to the trial and I was expecting some, as I say, I was expecting some issues, but I wasn't expecting it to be so difficult to get a blooming Nissan Leaf because it's probably one of the most abundant electric vehicles going. So that leads us on to the next thing. Well, what should we do if it's going to be a tricky thing to get? So let's have a look at, and this is what I've been doing. So I've been having a look at other electric cars because whatever I get next, it will be an electric car. And actually, there's a few in the local area which might tide me over. So why don't we have a look now and see what we can get, and see what we could get. Right. So let's see what's out there, shall we? Go and search for all cars where the fuel is electricity, and we shall sort by distance, nearest first. Right, so we've got two cars here. We've got a Nissan Leaf and a Hyundai Kona, and they are miles apart in terms of their price. So the first one we've got is a 24 kilowatt hour Leaf, £5,000, 2012, pretty basic looking interior, although it's comes with a charging. It's done 64,000 miles. Make an offer over £5,000. All other offers are set to decline. So maybe he'll take £5,001. £5,000 is doable. We could do that if we needed to. So there's a little electric car that we could have to tide us over for a little while we get something else. So if the trial is still ongoing, then we could just buy something like that quickly, and we could take the trial car when we're done, and we can either break that one up or we could sell it on again. So that's not too far away, 40 miles. Now the next one on here is a Hyundai Kona. Now I'm surprised to see this actually, because one of the reasons we're getting the Leaf is because I didn't expect to see some of the 64 kilowatt hour Hyundais or Kias actually available. So I'm really surprised this car is available. £35,995, a lot of money, especially if you look at the price of a regular Kona. It's about double. In fact, there's one there, £13,000. And although there's some that aren't, they're 24, so yeah, £10,000 more than the equivalent. This one is 2019. It has 2,000 miles on it. It's probably a ex-demo. Yes, it is. Yeah, there you go, ex-demonstrator. Skip the 12-month wait. Yeah, there you go. So this is they're probably charging a little bit more money for this as well, actually. So yeah, it's got all the stuff. It's at a dealer. Now this is actually quite tempting. This is a car that we could have for a while. The Konas, I mean, I've been watching Nigel's channel up in Norfolk, and he raves about his Kona, and actually, most people do who've got one, that and the E-Nero, and there's very little difference apart from a bit more boot space, I think. But if we were to do this one, this wouldn't just be tiding us over to the trial. This would just be bin off the trial, and we'll go and have a Kona instead. And actually, that is quite tempting actually, because 240 kilowatt hour vehicles is not necessarily my ideal. I would have liked a bigger one. I did ask Octopus, but they said the 60s weren't, the 60 kilowatt hour Nissan Leafs weren't going to be available. The other thing about this, of course, is it's a Kona, and the Leafs I'm not attracted to. From a buying point of view. There's another one here, a pre-owned Leaf, 40 kilowatt hour Tecna, 26,000. And I think from memory, I think the 60 kilowatt hour ones are significantly more than even the Kona there, a few £1,000s more, and the battery technology just fills me with dread. This is one of the big things about the battery technology, actually, that's annoying. It's the variability between manufacturers. That you could have a cracking battery, well engineered, cooled nicely, last you a long time, and then you get a Nissan with a same size battery, similar size battery, but no cooling, and completely knackered battery after only a few short years. So the Nissan ones, I just don't, and the way they've handled the whole rapid gate thing, I don't think I'd want to own one of those cars with that kind of baggage. So I think a Leaf, if it was mine, I would not be going for a Leaf. But the Kona, and the other thing about the Konas is they actually look like they do the miles they promise. So this is a nice looking car. Let's have some pictures. Where the pictures? Zoom in on the pictures here. Yeah, very nice. And again, not very far away. It looks like it's looks like it's just up in Lowestoft, which from us is 45 minutes. So yeah, very very tempting. Nice big boot. Yeah, I'm quite interested in that actually. So there we go. Just within a couple of miles of us here, we've got two extreme options. So we could maybe go out and buy a Leaf for £5,000, and so a bit of pocket money there gets you an electric car, an old one, probably one of the oldest ones out there. That would be something to tide us over, and then a substantial investment to get the Kona, but might be worth it actually. It's sort of making me rethink the whole the Octopus trial there, which is a real shame, because I would have liked to have been part of the vehicle to grid thing. The big thing that puts me off the Kona really is £35,000 for a car. I mean, I guess that's kind of car money, isn't it? I mean, for a new car anyway. But £35,000 for a car that mostly sits on your driveway, because I like to keep fit, I like to bike to work. Occasionally we go on those long drives which would need that 64 kilowatt hour battery. It doesn't feel like a good use of £35,000 for me. There's plenty of other things that I could spend that money on. So that's really the quandary that I'm in. And the reason that I was drawn to the Octopus Power Loop trial, because whilst my car's not doing anything in terms of travelling, if it's on Power Loop, then it's doing something in terms of energy consumption, giving back energy to the grid, doing all of that good stuff, and creating a point of interest for you lucky people out there. So so we're gonna have to wait and see next week. Let's see what they come back with, and if they come back and they can't tell me when this car is turning up, then I think I might just have to say, well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to think about whether I take part in this trial anymore, because it's been some time now. So there we go. Stay tuned. What's going to happen? oh, the drama. It's just the suspense is mediocre at best. So we shall see. But don't forget to tune in next time, and I will update you all soon. That's it. I've just paid the money.